This is Will from WillToRock.com speaking with the Tom Keifer. How are you, Tom?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Where are you right now?
In Nashville, at home.
Okay, you're at home. So how's the tour going? You have a break today?
Yeah, we've been home for a few weeks. We did about a 6-week leg that ran up to the release of the record, and then we took a break, and we actually leave tomorrow for more dates.
Okay, great. Is Savannah going to be back on the road? I know that I saw you at the Libby Bowl, and she was taking care of your son who had just had an accident.
Yeah, she actually came back, I think, the next night.
Okay.
So she returned with us while we were still on the West Coast. She only missed maybe 3 or 4 shows, I think. But yeah, she's back out.
Okay, good. How do you manage the home life when you're on the road like that? When both of you are on the road?
Well, we manage. Son's 15, and we have arrangements made for him when we travel. But a lot of times he travels with us.
Right. Oh, good.
So,
good.
Yeah. So we're pretty good at juggling it.
Oh, great. So on to the Rise album. It's amazing. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, all at once, it's defiant, it's reflective, it's introspective. How did the themes evolve for this record more so than even the way things go? The way things goes.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
So it's more how did the themes for this album? It sounds like almost this album should have been the first album, like if you had all this pent up rage and stuff going on.
Oh yeah. Well, I think a lot of the that energy that you feel on the record comes also from the band, because we've been touring different from The Way Life Goes, which was made with session musicians because there wasn't a band really at the time. I didn't have a band. This band formed to support that record, and we've been on the road for 6 or 7 years straight. So the energy, our goal going in to record this record was to capture that energy that we've had on stage and that chemistry that we've had on stage. And so we recorded the album very much live, and we kind of stepped right off the bus and went in and started tracking and set up all in a room together. There's very little overdubbing, or at least the least amount of overdubbing I've ever done on a record with Rise. So it's it's got a very live, raw, angsty feel to it because it's a band that's been touring, and so I think a lot of that energy is for that reason. But also, the subject matters that you referred to with the songs. I don't know. I mean, songs just kind of come to you, and I think these are all new, fresh ideas that popped into either my head or Savannah's head over the last 6 years that we've been touring with this band. So it's very current emotions and things that we felt. It's not, none of these songs are left over from any other projects or anything. So it's just kind of a new, fresh energy between the songs and then the band going into when we perform them. They're just kind of being set up in a room together and saying, headphones on, hit record, and let's really go for a performance.
Right. Did you?
It was very different from the way Life Goes was recorded. It was recorded over a much longer period of time, and we weren't even really setting out to make a record when we first started recording that one. This one, there was a goal.
Gotcha. Did you write this album? Was this written on that last tour, or did you, after you took a break, did it come together?
Well, the song ideas came to us on the road, and as we were traveling the last 6 years. Savannah and I both write from the perspective of lyrics first, so I'm always kind of analyzing my thoughts throughout the day,
right,
and deciding whether something's a song or not. Those ideas that stick with you, are the ones you eventually finish. I wouldn't say the songs were written on the road, but the ideas were kind of gathered on the road, or the seeds for some songs. And when we got off the road last year and decided to make a record, Savannah and I just kind of looked at what we had, and there were, a bunch that kind of jumped out as feeling like really strong. And what we did was then you sit down, you grab an instrument, and you kind of finish.
Right.
Let's say finish the book, right?
Yeah, right.
On each one. And as we were finishing up, 2 or 3 songs, we would jump straight into, we had a studio locked out with our gear all set up, and we would just jump in with the band and then kind of work up the arrangement and record the tracks.
Oh,
that's kind of how the with this. So everything was like real. We were fresh off the road. We were kind of like sitting down and writing these songs kind of fresh, and just going straight in and banging them out. So,
oh, great. What kind of input did the rest of the Keiferband have on the songs? And it's amazing band. I love the band, and you can see how much camaraderie that you guys have on stage and how much fun.
Yeah. Well, Kendra Chantel, she wrote "Touching the Divine" with Savannah and I, so she was actually involved in the writing process on one of the songs. And the band in general, basically, when the songs were taken in to record them, you kind of come in with the melody and the lyrics and the chord progressions, and I usually have the basic guitar riff, and then we sit down and we work on the arrangement and parts, and everybody kind of brings in their own flavor on their instrument. So that was a process with this band that was like really effortless. There was not a lot of conversation in the room. It was just, I would kind of just start playing and singing a song, and everybody just fell in, and we're playing very complementary parts to what the basic song was. Right. And that's really what you hear on the record. Most of it went down live right in that room. We kept the guitars. I like setting the sound stage on a record where you can kind of pick out the individual players, particularly the guitars. And Tony's the guitar in the left channel, or the left side, and I'm the one on the right. And we kind of recorded it that way, and you can really hear, there's some great interplay on the rhythm guitars and stuff there. And everybody just brought in great musicianship and vocals, and Kendra and Savannah did some really creative things with the vocals, and it was a lot of fun to make the record with. The band just got like insane talent. So I always say they make me sound good. So.
They're amazing, and actually you can and I said this in the review when I reviewed the album for the site, that each individual member stands out. You can hear what they bring. You can hear Tony's guitar. You can hear Billy's bass, Jared's drum, and the background vocals are incredible on this album too. And they really add a depth to the songs.
Well, our goal was going in with the songs was to just let everybody just kind of feel their way around and be themselves, and add what their personality to the songs. So, and particularly with the vocals, because we have really 6 strong singers in the band, and we really wanted to try and do some interesting layering of the parts on the vocals. Like I love on the song "Life Was Here," we just set up 2 mics and told Savannah and Kendra to go in there and just kind of in that instrumental section just do something really trippy. Yeah. And they just kept layering vocals, and it's like this weird, trippy, Beatle-y thing. So, we really experimented with that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things like that throughout the record on the vocals that are, have a unique thing, and you can really hear the tone of everybody's voice. We have a good blend.
Absolutely.
Together, so.
Yeah. Did all the songs that you wrote for the album make it on? Was there any extras left over?
There might be a couple ideas. It's kind of like I said, there are other ideas, none that we really finished out that I remember. The one, we were just kind of grabbing the ideas that felt the strongest to us and writing them, and like I said, jumping right into recording like 2 or 3 at a time, and then we take a week off and go back and kind of work up write some of the other ones, and we just kind of landed on 11 songs out of the box that just felt like a record. So so there's other ideas for songs, but we didn't really finish them out because we felt like we had a record, and we were kind of on a little bit of a we had a goal to kind of really knock this one out quick because of how long the last one took.
Right.
So we didn't, I guess for lack of a better word, we didn't fuck around too much. If it felt right, we just did it and moved forward.
No, that's great. I mean, it's 11 really, really strong songs. There's not a song on there that I kind of skip over. I listen to every one when I put the album on.
Oh, well, cool. It's nice to hear.
Yeah. So right out of the gates, the first single, "Death of Me," you address the vocal issues. Was it you that had idea for the video, starting with the surgeries and the critics of you?
I don't remember exactly how that came about. It probably, Savannah and I kick around and brainstorm a lot of ideas. I think that came from just us kind of sitting around brainstorming one night, you know, a couple weeks before we shot that video, and then we ran the idea past Vicente, the director, and he really liked it, and then, you know, the three of us kind of fine-tuned it. And actually, the messaging on the television screen was put together by our friend Tammy Vega, the photographer and video person that travels with us a lot and has done a lot with us. So once we had the idea, we kind of hit her up and said, hey, we need the content to play on the TV, so when the director gets in town, we already have that ready to shoot. So we went back and forth on a few cuts to, you know, she created that thing on the screen where the TV's talking to me and reminding me of those challenges. So the idea behind that was to, you know, those are just by way of example, because, you know, a lot of people are familiar with some of the things I've been through between the legal problems and health things.
Right.
You know, the former band falling apart, and, you know, there's just always some challenge in life to overcome. And, but, you know, that, like I said, that's just by way of example, because everybody goes through those things in life. So the idea of that intro was for people to maybe feel empowered to envision their own challenges on that screen and imagine smashing them, because that's a very powerful feeling. I got to tell you, it felt really good to take the guitar and break that TV. It was cool. So, you know, I really hope that people will kind of picture their own adversity and challenges on that TV when they're watching that video.
Right. With all the vocal challenges you had, did you approach recording or even the live shows much different than you would? Did you lower any registers? It doesn't sound like it, for sure.
You know, this record went pretty smooth with the vocals. I was really not in a great place when we did The Way Life Goes.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really kind of found the magic potion or anything yet on my voice. But you know, since I started working with Ron Anderson in 2009, and he was teaching me that opera technique, that really helped me overcome that neurological condition, and my voice has been getting stronger and stronger ever since. So live shows are different for me than from like decades ago, you know, but prior to the neurological condition, I didn't really need to do voice exercises or anything like that. But now, you know, now it's part of my daily routine, and I do warm-ups, like an hour warm-up before the show, and the technique that he taught me really gets the vocal cords ready for the marathon of the show.
Right. I've seen you a couple of times.
Studio-wise, you know, it's this record, I kind of just got in front of the mic and sang, which is kind of how I used to do it, but I was not able to do that on The Way Life Goes. It was much more of a struggle on that one.
Gotcha.
This one was much more effortless.
Yeah, having seen you, I saw you on the Monsters of Rock cruise earlier this year, and I saw you at the Libby Bowl, and the whole band sounds great, but you sound phenomenal on vocals, and a lot of people had actually made that comment after the show, how good you sounded.
Oh, well, that's always nice to hear.
Right. I have a question from someone you might know, April Lee. She wants to know, who the fuck is Tom Keifer?
I think it's who the hell is Tom Keifer.
That's not how she put it.
Well, we had a T-shirt that we had it was kind of started out as a joke just for our crew, because there was a show where someone who was working the show actually asked one of our crew, which we got a kick out of, and that became kind of we had Savannah actually had those shirts made up as a joke, and then people started seeing people in our camp wearing them and saying, how can I get one of those? And then we actually started selling them for a while, so I guess that's what she's referring to.
It is. That's great. Anything you want to add?
No, I think we're just kind of getting started with this record here, and we're planning dates to be out touring behind the record, next year. We've got more dates coming up this year, starting we leave tomorrow.
Yep.
And if you get a chance, check out Rise and come see a show.
Yeah. Do you anticipate this tour being as long as the last one?
Who knows? We toured so long with this band for two reasons. One, it started off as just supporting the record cycle of The Way Life Goes, and then when that tapered off, we decided just to stay out touring because we were developing as a band.
Yeah.
And kind of getting out and getting bigger shows and kind of just turning people on to what the band was about. Because when we started the first year, nobody really knew what to expect. So it took a little bit of time to really, get out there and kind of show our wares, if you will, and
right.
and let the fans see what the band's all about. So we just kept playing. We were having a good time, and our chemistry was growing as a band, and the crowds were growing. And when we got to the end of last year, we felt like, now it's time to make a record. And I don't think we'll tour for 6 years on this record. We didn't really on the last one. Most of it was just kind of just being out there, becoming a band.
Right. Right.
So.
Well, I think you've made...
Which is something I normally wouldn't do, is tour that many years in a row, but, we were starting something new, and it was apparent to me early on that it was kind of like starting over, I guess is the best way to put it. So we just stayed out there and kept grinding it and doing shows and trying to grow, so...
That's great. I think you've made the best album since Night Songs, and I love your other albums too. So I really enjoy it, and I'm glad it took what it did to make this album.
Yeah, I think all the years of touring with this band is really, one of the first things you asked me today. I think that's a lot of what you're hearing, what you were referring to, is the fact that we spent that much time together on the road, and that chemistry developed not only musically but personally too, and how we get along and how we communicate with each other is all really, really great on and off stage. So it was really, really effortless and a real pleasure to make the record with this band. It really was.
That's great. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time today. I appreciate it, and it's been a pleasure talking with you.
You too.
Right.
You have a great day, my friend.
You too. Thanks, Tom. Take care. Bye.